Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Business Over Brunch. I am Kima, the podcast creator and host. I'm also the founder and CEO of Maddie Clay Branding and Public Relations and agency director for Redhead Creative Media Group. But enough about me. Let's talk about Business Over Brunch. This is your newest beauty podcast, and we'll be speaking to insiders and contributors of the beauty industry. So meet me here every first and third Saturday to get the tea or the brunch on the beauty industry. Today, I'm joined by Nichole Wright, the creator of Satrell Beauty. So definitely check her out. Welcome, Nichole, and thank you so much for joining me for brunch.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, how's it going today?
It's going good.
Good. So before we get started, I definitely want you to introduce yourself. Of course, it's Saturday brunch. I'm sipping on a little mocha cappuccino. What are you sipping on with me today?
Well, I had some French vanilla chai tea today, so
Ooh, fancy.
pretty
All right,
good.
so give us a little bit of introduction. Who is Nichole, and tell us a little bit about who you are and your background.
Yes. Um, well, my name is Nichole Wright. I am the founder and CEO of Satrell Beauty. I'm basically, in addition to being an entrepreneur now, I am also a mom and a wife. I have two sons. My beauty brand has been a while for a couple of years now, so just really going out and building something that I could basically call my own. Um, my background is basically in finance, but I decided to kind of just venture my way into the beauty world and really just try to do something basically out of the norm of what I'm accustomed to. So that's basically a little bit about me in general.
Awesome. So, Satrell Beauty, I love that name. I'm always intrigued by names when they're not the norm. What is your inspiration behind naming your business?
My inspiration basically is based on my boys. If I didn't have them, Satrell Beauty wouldn't exist. And the main reason is the fact of Satrell is basically a combination of their names. Um, the SA is basically for Samuel, for my youngest son, and then Trail is based on my oldest son's middle name, Don Trail. So that's basically what inspired the name for my brand, and of why I actually chose it is to be representative of basically it's a beauty brand, yes, and I know I have boys, but it's just the fact of having that being something that they truly didn't mind me actually naming the business, especially a beauty business after them. So
Awesome. I definitely understand that. My agency, Maddie Clay, is also familial. Maddie was my grandmother's first name, and Clay was my grandfather's middle name. So
okay,
it's always nice to name something that you love behind your family as part of your
yes,
legacy. So I definitely understand that. So you mentioned, before we get into the beauty aspect of it, you mentioned that you have a background in finance. So
correct.
I think this is important for people with who are looking to start businesses. How did your finance background prepare you for entrepreneurship, and where do you feel like you were financially ready to launch your brand when you started out?
Yeah, I guess one thing, being in finance, yeah, it did help me a lot, especially from a financial aspect. So really knowing what to do or how to deal with business from that aspect of any type of business, because finance is definitely always key. 'Cause you need to make sure you have basically all your ducks in a row. So really having that background, understanding it was key, and basically taking the route that I did. And I guess when it comes down to, yes, I definitely saved money. So I have made sure I was prepared and ready. Because I mean, coming in, no matter what the business is, I just have to be on a lookout, just understanding the more like, am I financially sound? Am I able to, like if there is like any hit to my business, will I be how bad would it be impacted? I mean, I guess I could get it like a prime example would be from the pandemic. Yes, that did cause some issues, but I had to figure out a way to basically see what I can do on my back end to make sure I came out financially sound. And then and basically everything is basically slowly coming back into place. Because I mean, with everything that happened last year, um, I do see quite a few changes in what's going on with my business at least.
Right. So you definitely recommend that people, plan it out, save,
Yes.
prepare to invest versus just jumping in head first
Yes.
without having a sound plan. That's one of the things that made me want to bring back this podcast because I feel like, with everything that happened last year, so many people were just starting businesses.
Mhm.
And, part of that was making sure not just having the branding part of it, but making sure that you're prepared to carry the brand, continually because we don't know how long this is going to last. Yes, everything is back up, but we also don't know what future impacts we'll have as well. So I definitely like that. You knew that you wanted to start your brand. You have your background in finance, so you knew how to prepare for everything going forward. So definitely, everyone, make sure you have a financial plan as well. I know that sounds like should be everything, but some people it's that light bulb moment. You just never know. So let's
That's
jump
true.
into the beauty part of it. You started. You have some products. What was your reason, or how did you decide what products you wanted to have when you launched Satrell? And do you see yourself adding on, products for men since you have named the business after your son, or where do you see the brand growing from here?
Mhm. Yeah. So the main thing, when I started out, yes, I did do like all my research to really understand like the beauty industry itself. Um, and I know there was at least a tough competition out there, but at the same time, I wasn't afraid to actually just get involved and jump in to just add what I basically make my brand a part of what everything based on what it all is already out there. So, but yeah, I basically started out with like line of lip glosses and nail polishes. Lip glosses and nail polishes are my main go-to. The products that I basically use a lot. So that's why I started with those. But I just love those products based out of all the rest of the beauty products. But at the same time, yes, I do definitely plan on adding other beauty products to the line, like the lipsticks and um, foundations and so forth. So make sure that is definitely something that I'll look forward to along the way. And as well as definitely jump into like the skincare line as I build upon like my cosmetic side. So definitely get that up to where I need it to be before I actually do start looking into a different sector of the beauty industry. And definitely since I did name like the products behind my son's name, um, from a male perspective, yes, I could definitely incorporate some brand like some products for men when it comes down to the skincare side. So definitely incorporate all that.
Right. So yeah, it definitely takes some research and planning. So with your research, when you started to build the brand, did you make everything at home? I know a lot of times people make stuff from home, it works and they go from there. But of course, you have lipsticks and I'm sorry, lip glosses and nail polishes. What route did you take with your research, and what were some of the obstacles that you had when you decided to reach out to maybe chemists or manufacturers or white labeling in regards to your products?
Mhm. Yeah, in the beginning, yes, I was basically I have various ingredients like for the lip glosses and the nail polishes, so I do have that on my own. But in the end, I ended up basically working with folks just to help build my product line. Um, and at the same time, I actually went outside because I know there's so much in regards to getting your beauty brand up especially up to code with everything, like with the FD&A or just making sure everything's right. So I had to make sure I worked with like a reputable manufacturer and chemist just to make sure they can help me make sure everything in my like all the ingredients that were part of my product were basically good to be sold on my website. I'm not in stores yet, but on my website. So basically, just have to have some kind of support to reference that my products are safe from a safety
Mm-hmm.
perspective, that they're anybody's able to use them, and then and basically don't have any reactions. And at the same time, I know I can't really assume nobody can't have reactions to anything. I mean, it's a chemical, and you never know any allergies folks have. But at the same time, yes, I was basically willing to work with folks. And in the beginning, I was trying to do more things on my own, which I knew, yeah, that wasn't gonna work. I have to basically enlist some help.
So you brought up a good part in regards to making sure people are reputable, that they will give you quality products that you can sell and ensure the safety of your consumer. When you
Yeah.
started looking for like your chemist and manufacturer, what are some things that you looked for, and what do you recommend someone else? Like if I were to start a product line, what should I be looking for when I start reaching out to chemists and manufacturers?
What I look for, I mean, definitely reputation. So did a lot of research on that. Um, See if you can definitely find, if you know anybody who's even in like the industry themselves, definitely communicate with them and see if they could even get you some contacts if you couldn't like find them on your own. So do it that way as well. Um, and just make sure, I mean, a lot of times you'll even know what the ingredients are even out there. You kind of have an idea of what's in the products, but at the same time, you know what you're gonna want to basically put in your own product. So I mean, if you want it more organic, make sure it's ingredients that's more for the organic side. If you want, more vegan or just from that aspect, just try to make sure that person is able to work with you and get you the product that you actually want to create and sell to your consumers from that point. So that's what I did. And then once I found somebody who actually provided me basically what I wanted and what I was looking for, that's who I decided to work with.
Right. So it's definitely a lot. So definitely research is key. So we talked about
Yes.
that early on when we talked about the finance, knowing, what to expect, how much money to set aside. Now looking at the product ingredient list that you want to consider, the type of people that you want to work with. So no matter what industry you go to, research is always going to be key when it comes to starting up and make sure that you can stand behind the brand that you put out there. So you mentioned that your business now is a couple of years old, but through the pandemic, like we mentioned before, things happen.
Mhm.
People's finances change, but we also recognize in the beauty industry there's something called the lipstick effect, which says that during times like this, people spend more money on products because they are home. They want to still make themselves feel good. It's all about
Mhm.
self-esteem. Do you feel like your business grew during the pandemic at all, or was it kind of stabilize, or did you do anything differently during that time over the last year to help grow your business and put products out?
Yeah, I would say for my business during that time, especially as a small business, yeah, my business mainly, I mean, yes, it was definitely impacted and more it was stabilized. So I didn't make as much sales as I did like the previous year, but I did make some sales last year. And then I'm obviously also making some sales this year so far, which is a good thing. So I can definitely see it's improving compared to what we went through last year. So I could see the improvement from that aspect of it. But yeah, just being a small business alone, I know, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I shouldn't even say it's fun. I mean, it's just the fact of, I know I'm smaller compared to a lot of these large corporations, but there's more to it. I have to make sure I get that exposure. So I definitely made sure, and definitely with Christina and her team, just help make sure that I still got the exposure that was needed and made sure people knew that, yes, Satrell is still here. So even though
Right.
we're through this pandemic, still made sure I had that vision that, okay, my brand is still here. I haven't gone anywhere. So I have products, and then I added on some new lip glosses and so forth. So just really just make sure that I was still in the focus on
Right.
everybody's mind.
So you mentioned one thing about Christina, and I'm familiar with your PR team. And I are part of a group called Women in PR. So I know that you're in great hands. So how do you feel like having a publicist team has helped you in regards to, overcoming some of those things that took place last year during the pandemic? And how is that setting you up, to have an amazing 2021?
Oh, I think it helped me tremendously because I would probably say if I didn't have a PR team, yeah, I'd probably be lost and probably I don't know what I would have done. I guess I just still would have had the exposure, that I would have had um, before the pandemic hit. So that's basically, yeah, I think I would have just been like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do anymore. And I guess I would have been more in panic mode. And I
Mhm.
was in panic mode, but it's just the fact I had like a PR team behind me to really help and make sure, like, yeah, no, we got this. So we're gonna figure out ways to help, continue, making sure that your team, making sure that your brand stays a focal point to basic all the consumers, and just try to find ways to still basically build on that. Yes, there was a pandemic, but at the same time, just still let people know that you're still around and you're still willing to offer products that they're interested in.
Right. So we have a question, which is was going to be my next question.
Mhm.
When you decided, what made you decide, or what was that aha moment when you said, I need to have a publicist, or I need to add to my team? What made you decide to look into having a publicist, and what are some things that you looked for before making your final decision?
Yeah. So in the beginning, yeah, I was trying to do everything on my own. I was posting my pictures, um, like on Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. So what made me decide was basically I just knew I needed help. Especially from that side of things. It's one thing of me trying to work with somebody to get my products and stuff up and going, but at the same time being able to find a respectable team that could help with the social media aspect and and PR aspect, just to really get more push and more, um, I guess, basically more visual focus out there to the world, so people know who I am as a brand. They have helped tremendously. So I did do research. I did ask around. Um, so really just try to get people, like other people that I knew who were like had their own businesses and what they did and who they went through and how they found who they um, basically have for their PR person. So really just communicated and then just looked around, and then I came across Christina and her team, and then ever since it just we basically have a great relationship since then. So and they work very well with helping me build my brand, and that's what I like about them, because they help and do whatever they can on their end. And as well as I'm still doing stuff on my end just to make sure we both come together and everything's in agreement, and making sure we know everybody's on the same page of how to get the business basically above and beyond. Because I mean, in the end, I want my brand to definitely be a household name one day, and then definitely make my ways in the stores as well. So I just want that exposure, and that's my end goal when it comes down to it, to try to get to that level.
Awesome. So you've had some great placements over the last few months. I definitely we all kind of keep up with what we're doing with our clients, and you guys have been rocking it out. So congratulations. What do you feel when they say, "Hey, Nichole, we got you a placement in Hello Beautiful," or what goes through your mind when you think about the fact that you have this team that's behind you, and you're seeing your investment starting to show a return? So what would you say to someone who's looking for a PR team? Like, what would you say would be the biggest reward in having that team behind you?
Be the biggest reward. I mean, yeah, because usually when I hear about, they let me know, like if I'm gonna be a part of an interview in a magazine or on a podcast, like with you guys, it's like, yeah, I get excited. It's like it's something different, like yay, because I'm all for it. So it's not like I'm shying away, like okay, yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna do it right now because I don't know what they're gonna think, you know. No, I take on a challenge and just really just let people know who I am. So I'm all for it. As soon as the opportunity presents itself, I'm like, okay, yes, let's go for it. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. So that's what I'm all about. But yeah, just definitely just don't. I mean, with having that PR team definitely helps. It just gives you an extra push. So really, just getting more exposure. I mean, definitely key. But and I still stay true to myself no matter what. And yes, I have a PR team, but they're willing to help me. It's not like they're just taking control of the situation. But okay, no, we're gonna do this, and then that's it. You know. So it's just more of they'll ask if I'm interested in doing something, and then, and at the same time, I can even go to them and ask, like, offer, like, is it something that if we could do certain things with how we showcase my brand, or just try to just make sure that I still remain true to the brand itself, and don't
Mhm.
try to, and I definitely don't want to copy what anybody else is doing when it comes down to it either, but just try to make sure to find ways to just keep continue that exposure and continue um, building, my brand, and make sure I'm respected in the industry along the way.
Right. That's awesome. You guys are going to do a great job, and I can see an amazing year coming for you. So, congratulations on that. But
Thank
I
you.
did hear kind of an undertone of partnership between you and your PR team. You work together, and it's not just I pay you, you take it on. No, this is still my brand, and I still have to, make sure that I'm a part of it as well. So,
Yes.
great job having an understanding of that.
Yes,
So I can
and
tell
that's
you,
key.
being a publicist is hard work. So, and we love clients like you who, feel the partnership. I always say it's like a marriage. You get in, you
Yes.
get out what you put into the relationship.
Yes.
So awesome job. So as an entrepreneur now, of course, we're all consumers, no matter where we are in life.
Correct.
How has your experience as a consumer of beauty products helped you shape who you are as an entrepreneur and the brand that you're wanting to build and put out there for other people to see your product, like you said, in stores and in other places?
Hmm. I think, like, on being from a consumer standpoint, yes, there's various products that I do love as well. Um, but at the same time, I from that standpoint, I can kind of figure out, okay, you know what? I wish they had like a certain product with a particular ingredient or a certain shade, that type of aspect of it from that level. So having my own line, yes, I could kind of just incorporate what I would probably think, okay, what do I look for in a product? What
Mm-hmm.
would I expect to have in it? So I could kind of bring those thoughts and ideas of what I can put into my own brand, into my own line, and try to basically see from what somebody else would want. So, because I mean, yes, it's my product, but at the same time, I still have to make something that's designed for the consumer,
Mm-hmm.
not just geared towards me. So I try to just make sure I can try to, because that's where all the research comes in as well. You have to listen, especially listen to your consumer, like, what are they looking for? So what do they want? So for me, I have to definitely just stay on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just make sure that I know what's going on within the industry itself and what changes. Because I definitely want to make sure as everything changes, I have to make sure I change with it too. And then definitely with the pandemic that went on, there's like a lot of stuff you had to kind of change
Mm-hmm.
around just to really make it impactful. Like, okay, so now we have to wear masks. I mean, you can't see your lips right now. Yeah, you think about it. It doesn't matter what you have on. Who's gonna see you? But but you have nail polish. You can still wear it. You don't have to cover your hands.
Right.
So
Well, businesses are open back up. It's brunch season.
yeah, now, but yeah, now, but yeah, but there's just different, things you have to think about, and it's really
Right.
change with the time. I mean, you got to make the changes.
Right. It definitely shaped the way that we had to do business and,
Yes,
be innovative and think strategically. I'm not going to say pivot because at this point that word needs to go into the
right.
dictionary graveyard. But we
Yes,
definitely had to be creative as business owners
yes,
in regards to how we're going to continue to reach the clients that we've had or customers that we've had in the past and how we're going to
correct.
make sure they continue to stay loyal to the brand. But congratulations on everything that you've been working towards. I'm so excited to talk with you. And of course, now go shop on the website because I'm a nail polish girl too. I'll pay for a pedicure and then a week later I'll be home switching out the nail polish on my own. So, hey, it's nobody sees it but me, but my
Yeah.
toes look good. So, last question. This is for the moms out there. I always
Okay.
want to talk about productivity hacks for
Okay.
entrepreneurs in general. You're a mom, you're running a business. What's one of your favorite tools for productivity that helps you to manage it all?
To help me to manage it all. Huh. I guess to be honest, because I know I have so much going on. I mean, I definitely make sure I step away from my computer or whatever, just for like an hour or so, just to
Mhm.
really kind of just like, okay, I got to step away so I can kind of get my brain recharged, just try to do whatever I can. So I don't have to worry about being stressed and just come back to it, that type of thing. So it's either I'm doing that or I'm just taking a walk in my neighborhood. Just try to just do something just to get my mind off of work just for a few. So those are some of the things. I guess those are two of the main things I definitely do and I encourage. I mean,
Mhm.
definitely stepping away from the computer. Because I know I could stay on my computer all day long, and I will work through lunch. That's how bad
Mhm.
it'll get sometimes for me. But it's like I just need to take a break and just think, and then I'll come back, and then okay, now let's get back to what I was doing.
That's an important one. A lot of times people don't think about resetting as a productivity tool. You have to step away sometimes and, give your
Yeah,
brain a chance to breathe, give your eyes a chance to rest, give your
yeah,
fingers a chance to, have some more blood flow coming through. I
yeah,
definitely agree with that. I'm like you. I'll work through lunch. I'll, move my computer from one station to the next, thinking, oh, it's a different setting. I can, be a little bit. So, but no, we have to step away actually from the
yeah.
computer and not just change location. So, but Nichole, thank you so much for speaking with me today. It was absolutely an honor and a pleasure speaking with you and learning more about Satrell Beauty. Definitely can't wait to go on the website and shop. So, everyone, please make sure that you check out Satrell.com and check out this amazing brand with some lip glosses and nail polishes. And stay tuned for more to come from her as we continue to grow out of this pandemic time and seeing what's next on the list of things to do. So again, Nichole, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
Again,
for
my
having
name is
me.
Kima. Thank you for joining me for brunch. Until next time, be blessed and enjoy whatever is on the brunch menu. Have a great Saturday, everyone.